Alright, so very recently, there's a little debacle going down here on YouTube, and but mainly on Twitter. It started on Twitter, alright? And I would never usually make a video like this, but this is a creator that I'm not super into them, but I do enjoy watching her videos whilst I draw. Now, originally, when I discovered the situation, I discovered it through her, actually. And now I wasn't really paying attention to the speed paint whatsoever. I was listening to what she was saying and drawing like I normally do. And based on how she was talking about the situation, how she was wording everything, I was on her side. I gave her a benefit of the doubt, and I just assumed, yeah, all right, it's Twitter. Twitter's sort of a crazy place. And I originally was in the mindset of, yeah, I don't think you're using AI, But now, however, that it has changed. It is changed drastically how I feel about this entire situation, and I do believe that she traced over something, and it is most likely AI that she traced over for her sketch video, and then for her final product, I believe she ran her final product through AI. I'm just going to be talking about that. I'm going to be showing, I left a comment on her video detailing my opinion, and I'm basically going to be sharing that in this video and going a bit more in detail and showing examples and all that stuff. Okay, so I'm being honest, completely honest as a fellow artist. These are just the things that I notice and that I seen others pointing out and that I agree with. Pawmi, the reason why people are saying it looks like AI is for a multitude of reasons. First off, your base sketch, does not consistently line up and follow the level of line art that was depicted. This sort of base sketch, these balls, the ball jointed wrists, whatever, all of this bubbly looking base are things that we tend to see in very beginner to artists that are still figuring things out on their own, right? This isn't the type of behavior you would see in an advanced artist who would be able to pull off this sort of line art without changing anything. Some artists, advanced artists, are able to just draw beautifully right out the gate. They're able to just draw from their brain and just spit it out onto paper. They're able to do that without changing a lot of things, right? But the thing is, they're able to do that because they have years of experience. Pawmi, you do not have a public history of your art. People have no way to judge whether your improvement is linear or if it lines up to what was shown in the past. And based off of your base sketch, I do not believe you are this advanced artist who is able to just pop off line art like this and it looks masterful and you change nothing. And that's it. No. Yeah, I just can't believe that you are that advanced of an artist without any proof of your history in art and based off of how your base sketch looks. The 3 balls you drew, they're completely unnecessary. And they're not even used for anything. I would assume that the 2 balls on both of the sides, right, would be a guideline to how you would draw the jaw around it, right? But you don't do that on the right side. You completely ignore it and you make the jaw higher up above the ball. So they're not really adding to anything. Usually in art, you do things with intention or to help you depict something. Those balls are not helping you with anything. And what gets me the most is you don't 100% follow this base sketch either. Do you see how the jaw looks? And then when you go in with the line art, the jaw is completely different. Base sketches are there for you to base your a little bit more detailed sketch on top of that. So you're able to map out where you want your limbs to go, where you want the head to be positioned, that sort of thing. But if you skip the second sketch, base sketches are also there as a guideline, especially for an artist of your level. They are there as a guideline, which you don't really utilize during your line art stage, you sort of follow along in some places, but especially in like the head area, you just ignore it. It looks like you're following something else underneath that base sketch. And now what also gets me the most is, Pawmi, you didn't even sketch out the placement of the eyes or the mouth to make sure it's spaced correctly. Again, advanced artists are able to do this because they have years and years and years of experience of drawing in their style. Based off of your base sketch, everybody can rightfully assume that you are not that advanced of an artist. So how are you able to perfectly place down the nose, the mouth, the eyes, and they are perfectly spaced out with no sketch, no nothing underneath that, and you don't even need to tweak it either? How? It's almost like you are sketching over something that we cannot see under the base sketch. Now, in some places, you do redraw, like the shoulder. You redraw the accessories and the little starred heart shapes a few times. But you're not really moving anything around with like a lasso tool or with liquify that a lot of artists tend to use because they originally placed something incorrectly and they need to fix that. You don't demonstrate that behavior whatsoever. You don't need to move anything. Even advanced artists do play around with their drawings. They do change their composition. They change a few aspects. They use the lasso tool to change things around to try out different poses, different whatever. Or because, they did make a mistake and they're correcting it. You, however, don't even need to redraw or move any aspect of your drawing. And that is very, very abnormal for somebody of your skill level. Another thing I like to point out as well is the fact that you already had your crown details put into place in the base sketch before you even sketched in the actual crown. Makes zero sense. Most artists sketch in the base structure of the items, then sketch in the details on top of it. And the main reason why that I keep mentioning it looks AI is the fact that throughout the entire speed paint, you, Pawmi, look like you already know where to place something without the need to move it. This is the same type of behavior people who trace over AI exhibit in all of their speed paints. And another thing, you said that you traced the hands from a past drawing.
I want to redraw it again because this was last minute. I just traced over my own drawing. I said, hey, I traced over my drawing, something that I drew. I referenced it.
All right? A lot of artists do that. A lot of artists trace ourselves, right? But if you did that, then why do we not see that past drawing pop up? We see no aspect of that drawing pop up in the speed paint whatsoever. Like, we see the crown image that you're referencing there, and it's fine. I know some people mentioned that sometimes when you delete things, speed paints will not show the deleted stuff. That is true, but it will show things that were in the program for a significant amount of time. Usually, an image coming in won't show up in the speed paint if you did nothing with it and you deleted it soon after you dropped it into the canvas. But you were tracing over the hand for a significant amount of time. We should have seen that in the speed paint. Now, why do we not see that in the speed paint? Well, it's because you're using Procreate. And Procreate has this handy dandy thing called hidden layers, where you're able to hide things. Now, you could have placed your past drawing under a hidden layer, but why would you do that? If it's your drawing, if it's your own drawing, why would you hide that? But now, since you have hidden something, we can't trust that you didn't also hide an AI-based image to trace over, because it brings reasonable doubt. Why should we believe that you hid your own drawing to trace over, but then also trust your word that you didn't trace over any AI image? You've already used a hidden layer once, you could use it again. So we can't trust the speed paint. That whole thing in itself makes this whole speed paint completely redundant. A small little note. Pawmi said that the hearts on the crown were too difficult to draw in 3/4.
Right, and I tried to explain, but drawing a heart from a tilted perspective, because the way that it was turning, it was challenging, and I just kept messing up. It was making me really agitated. You couldn't tell what it was, okay? So I thought, you know what? It's kind of like a beachy themed, cute little outfit. What if I made like a starfish kind of thing, give some stars? I thought that would be cute.
Now it's a little funny because you're directly referencing the crown image, and you're not drawing that crown from a different angle. So you can just directly reference your reference, right? But usually stars are a bit more difficult to draw in different angles compared to hearts, especially if the reference that you're already using that is in the same exact angle that you're drawing has a heart. Just reference those hearts. We're not even mentioning the biggest elephant in the room with us yet. This video that Pawmi uploaded does not show the completed speed paint from start to finish. It stops midway into the line art phase where she's starting to color stuff in, but it cuts off from there. That's where the video ends. That's it. That's all we get. And I don't know where else that she uploaded this 14 or however long minute speed paint video. I went on her Twitter. All I see is a 30-second one, which again, 30-second speed paints do cut out things. I can't find this longer speed paint that she put in this video. And so that raises a question, right? All right. So maybe you didn't use AI for this part of the drawing. But how do we know if you didn't go ahead and traced the rest of the drawing with AI and you just cut that part of the video? Which makes no sense. If you're trying to defend yourself from AI, why would you end your own speed paint before it can finish the drawing? And you're telling everybody who is giving you rightful criticism to use our frontal lobe? Your attitude is completely misplaced. All right, for this segment of the video, we're going to look at her final drawing. And I just want to point out a few details that I find suspicious, all right? All right, I finally got this painting work. All right, so this is Pawmi's, finished sketch. One thing I immediately noticed, do you see how all these hair strands here look like they're behind this darker red strands, right? Well, then there's this random strand that's just on top of everything. That doesn't really make any sense because you should be doing all these little strands on the same layer. So why would you not go back to that layer to add this strand? This part is a little weird. You see how it's like this, but then there's a strand inside that strand. It's a little odd. This strand completely goes back into the hair like this. That's not normal. I feel like it should be like this. Now some of the little things might be because she's just sketching it really quickly, but yeah, I'm not really competing with me. Hold on, your jaw here, here, here. Again, this is very inconsistent with how her sketch looked. Yeah, I truly don't understand what's going on over here. That might not be anything. That's probably not anything, but this little part's right here where the brown is bleeding a bit here. There's weird brown dots and stuff. It's a little odd since she copy and pasted the ears and stuff, but you don't really see that issue over here. I think the hair colors are a bit blending into the ears as well, because the hair's blended with this green, with this weird green, and you don't really see that weird green show up in her skin at all, except on the ears. That might be because I think she ran this image or her sketch or whatever through AI, and it just couldn't comprehend that those were her ears and stuff, and kind of just blended all the colors together oddly. Because you usually, if you see artists using one color to blend something skin wise, you'll probably see those colors pop up in other areas of the skin. I myself use a lot of pinks and blues and some yellow, and those colors will pop up everywhere all over the skin, because that's how I render skin. So it is a bit odd that the green shows up in her ears and not anywhere else. What I also find weird is these bead patterns here. My assumption is that they're supposed to wrap around the arm, but how is it? What is that? Unless if her arm is this skinny, this skinny, but I don't believe that's right. The arm should be like this, or that's a bit wonky. Hold on. Like that, all right? And then the beads should come down like that. A reason why it looks like this, is because AI has a really hard time being consistent with details that go behind other objects. And you noticeably see that here. And you notice it, I think, in a few other places of the hair, like this. Like the AI fucked this up, thought this needed to go behind this, but that obviously makes 0 sense. AI is just super bad at stuff like that. And I don't know where the ear is going. The ear's like this. So I feel like we should see a bit of the ear go back there, but we don't really see anything. Like, is this line the ear? I'm not, like, this line right here. I'm not quite sure. Like what is this line doing? What? I mean, I guess you could draw like that. But she says she did it in a hurry and in a rush, which I guess could explain, like, these lines over here. Details here. That's a really weird melted looking line. And then it kind of goes back here and then it just, like, does nothing. I don't think it's connecting, like, back with this at all. So, like, wouldn't you... What? And then this is part of, like, the front area of the hair. So wouldn't you, like, have it connect to the front area instead of the back area? Like, look, you don't even see, like, the pearls connect up here on her neck. And they don't look like they go past the hands either. Do you see that? And then this one doesn't have an outline. Why do some of your pearls have outlines and some of them don't? It has a very AI glossy look as well, and you will notice that especially. Let me line it up. I'm trying to line it up to the best of my ability here. I believe that's correct. Yeah, look. Like this image just has, like, a blurry glow to it that just gives you that's very reminiscent of AI generated photos. Like do you see how, like, her lines go from, like, being harsh down here to you see how, like, they're very harsh here, and they go from harsh to being very, very soft and blended in. And, like, some areas of it is just super blurry. Like, are we joking here? Hello? Alright, yeah, see, look. This part of the line, hold on, oh my god. This part of the line comes out of nowhere. That is not here on the sketch. That's why I think she ran it through AI, because, like, there's certain little thingies here that was not there during the line art. And, like, this is why it is just so suspicious to me that she didn't show the full time lapse, the full speed paint. She didn't show the full thing. She just stopped here. Okay, how are we supposed to believe you went from here to here? See, like, I was right. So this line up here was supposed to be for the ear, but now it's like this line, like, was the ear, but now it's like, do you see that? It's just a little odd, alright? It's just a little odd. And now, my final little thing, my final tidbit. Oh, this was her, you see, like, she said she didn't have any time, but she traced over her own drawing, like, 1-to-1 with the hair. Or perhaps, you know, she fed this through AI and gave it, like, the prompts to make it look like this, and then retraced it, and then ran it through AI, like, one final time. Anyways, to show you is this very, very important detail. Now, let's come over here. Look at her details. Look at her UI. It's round here. This is like this is a teardrop shape. This is, like, another teardrop shape. This part is very spiky. It is a spike. Now, if you look at somebody's actual picture of Procreate, you see it's like this. It's like this. And it is not sharp. It is round. Like, do we see the difference between the UI here? It is glaringly different. Like, that is truly why I believe she most likely just screenshotted her sketch and fed it through AI, or something, fed her entire screenshot through AI, because these, especially the little pointer here, that is so sharp. and like the little S here. These are teardrop shapes. These are obviously not teardrop shapes. Who are you fooling? Who are you actually? I mean, you fooled me at first, but that's because I wasn't looking at my screen. If I looked harder, I would not have defended you the first time in the comments, alright? No. Nuh-uh. This is different Cordell now. Cordell has opened her eyes. Well, those are all the details that I personally spotted. Y'all let me know if you see other details in the comments below. I think I want to leave off with one final thing for Pawmi. If you somehow are just a masterful artist who can pull off their line art, need to make 0 changes to it, then I think we all would love to see a stream from you, a live stream, a hand cam one, and of you sharing your entire iPad screen so we can see if you pull up any windows, to see if you're referencing something, to see if you're tracing over AI, and if you are tracing, which I think there is a ton of details that prove that you most likely are. I would say just apologize. I would say just come out with it and say, yeah, I lied. I'm sorry. I guess I won't do it again. But I think you've already dug yourself in a deep enough hole. I mean, you've used generative AI in your backgrounds, in your past videos. You got scanned by somebody who gave you AI thumbnails, and those were your thumbnails for a while. You've had history of generative AI on your platform. So I think this all makes it very, very hard to come back from. And I would keep your attitude in check, honestly, because all of these reasons is enough and is a fair reason for anybody to raise an eyebrow in your direction. And I think your overall attitude is generally distasteful when responding to such critiques, given your past history of generative AI on your channel. I mean, all I can say is just keep it together. You know? I don't know. I still want to give a benefit of the doubt. I don't know. I don't like saying things with certainty, but it is in my honest to God opinion that I believe that Pawmi, through the initial drawing that she did for somebody else into AI, used that to trace her base over and then traced her line art over it, and then used that line art sketch where it's half colored, screenshotted it to make it look a bit more believable, and threw that into AI. I believe that's what happened. But anyways, that's gonna be all for me. That's gonna be all for me. And I hope this is my first and last negative video I'll make about somebody. I hope everybody, all my bros, hoes, and queen betweens, have a great rest of your day. Keep drawing, keep supporting your artists, alright? Just because you see shit like this happening does not mean you should just give up on your art, or you should give up on your favorite artists, alright? You know, have a little faith in yourself and in other artists, alright? It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.